It was Christmas Eve. Everyone was feeling happy and excited. Bai Xiaoyue hurried through the busy streets, her heart full of love. She had a nicely wrapped present for her boyfriend, Chen Wei, a scarf she knitted herself. They'd been together for 2 years. Tonight she wanted to surprise him. When she got to his apartment, she pictured his happy face. Quietly, she used her key to go inside. A strong, fancy perfume filled the air. It wasn't hers. A bad feeling started to grow in her stomach. Then she saw them. Chen Wei was kissing her cousin. The room felt like it was spinning. Xiaoyue's perfect world broke into pieces. The present fell from her numb fingers and crashed onto the floor. The pain of betrayal felt worse than any physical injury. Chen Wei's head jerked up. His face went white. "Xiaoyue, it's not what it looks like," he said, using that same old tired excuse. Xiaoyue just laughed, a harsh, empty laugh. Her cousin, always pretending to be innocent, said, "Xiaoyue, we can explain." But Xiaoyue didn't listen. Explanations didn't matter. What they did mattered more. All she could see was them together. All she could hear were their whispers. She bent down, picked up the ruined gift, and walked out without saying a word. In the courtyard, a fire burned in a metal bin, a place for old Christmas trees. She threw the scarf into the fire and watched it burn. Tears welled up, but she refused to cry. She wouldn't give them that satisfaction. Her phone buzzed. It was Jiajia, her best friend. Xiaoyue answered. "Xiaoyue, where are you? Are you with Chen Wei?" "He's a jerk," Xiaoyue choked out, the words broken and painful. "What? What happened?" Xiaoyue told her everything, the betrayal, the lies, the burning scarf. By the time she finished, her voice was rough. "Stay right there," Jiajia said firmly. "I'm coming to get you." An hour later, they sat together on Xiaoyue's couch with a bottle of wine. Jiajia, always a good friend, listened as Xiaoyue talked about how she felt. "Forget him," Jiajia said, raising her glass. "He doesn't deserve you. You're better off without him." Xiaoyue took a big drink, the wine warming her throat. She was hurting, but she wouldn't let herself be a victim. She would move on. She had to. The holidays went by in a blur of fake smiles and empty cheer. The betrayal hung over Xiaoyue like a dark cloud. Then her father, the CEO of their struggling company, got sick. Trips to the hospital became normal. During one visit, her aunt and uncle cornered her. Their faces, usually calm, were filled with worry. "Xiaoyue," her aunt started softly. "Your father, the company, things are bad." They explained that their company was close to bankruptcy and needed help. A merger was the only option, and the CEO of the other company had a condition. He wanted to marry their daughter. Xiaoyue felt sick to her stomach. They couldn't be serious. "That's crazy!" Xiaoyue shouted, getting angry. "You can't be serious! Marry a stranger to save the company!" Her aunt and uncle looked at each other. They seemed ashamed, but also desperate. "Xiaoyue, please," her uncle begged. "It's the only way. Your father, he's worked his whole life for this company. Don't let it fall apart." Guilt twisted inside Xiaoyue. She loved her father. He was a good man who worked hard and didn't deserve this. But sacrificing her own happiness, marrying someone she didn't even know, the pressure from her family was heavy. She felt like a chess piece in their financial game. But the thought of her father losing everything, torn between family and her own feelings, Xiaoyue started to cry. This time she let the tears flow. Days turned into sleepless nights. Xiaoyue stayed by her father's side, torn between her love for him and this impossible situation. He didn't know anything, lost in his illness. Finally, she made up her mind. She would meet this CEO, this stranger who controlled her family's future. But she wouldn't be a victim. She would make a deal. She would set her own rules. Her aunt, relieved, quickly set up the meeting. They picked a quiet, fancy restaurant. Dressed in a simple but elegant dress, Xiaoyue looked at herself in the mirror. The heartbroken girl was gone. Now she was a woman ready to take charge of her life. She would face this challenge head-on. The restaurant was filled with quiet chatter and the sounds of silverware. Xiaoyue sat stiffly at the table, her aunt and uncle beside her, nervous as could be. "He's here," her aunt whispered, her voice shaky. Xiaoyue looked up. A man stood at the entrance. He was noticeable, even in the crowded room. Tall and impressive, he had an air of power and confidence. This wasn't just any businessman. This was... "Oh my God!" Xiaoyue gasped, her eyes wide with surprise. The CEO, the man her family wanted her to marry, was the same man she had accidentally spilled coffee on just yesterday at a cafe. The memory of their first meeting, so embarrassing at the time, now made her feel hot all over. He had been so mad, his expensive suit ruined by her clumsiness. He walked towards them, his face hard to read. As he got closer, Xiaoyue saw a tiny hint of amusement in his eyes. He remembered. "Mr. Li," her uncle stuttered, standing up. "Thank you for meeting us." Mr. Li, the famous CEO, ignored him. He looked right at Xiaoyue, a flicker of recognition in his dark eyes. He nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. "Miss Bai," he said, his voice deep and smooth. "We meet again. It seems fate has a sense of humor." Xiaoyue wanted to disappear. Of all the CEOs in the city, it had to be him. But as he looked at her, a strange feeling of defiance grew inside her. This might be a business deal for him, but she wouldn't be just another thing he bought. The dinner was a blur of awkward small talk and forced smiles. But Xiaoyue couldn't stop looking at Mr. Li. He was everything Chen Wei wasn't. Confident, powerful, and surprisingly interesting. "I won't be a puppet," she said clearly and strongly, after her family explained what they wanted. "I agree to this marriage, but I have my own rules." The table went silent. Her aunt gasped, her uncle looked like he might faint. But Mr. Li? He just raised an eyebrow, a spark of curiosity in his eyes. "Go on," he said, leaning back. For the first time in weeks, a real smile touched Xiaoyue's lips. She was stepping into the unknown, a future that was uncertain and scary. But she would face it on her own terms. This might be a marriage of convenience, but she would make sure it was a marriage she chose. This wasn't the end, but a new beginning.